I have now done over 1,000 miles on my Surron, and to this day I am still loving it. That's why in this video I'm going to go over 5 reasons why I love the Surron, and I'm even going to show you a bonus trick which you may or may not have known about on the Surron around halfway through the video. But before any of that, I'm going to hit this trail behind me at a full speed run. Let's get into it. Okay, so the bike's on. You always got to start with a good wheelie. Even with that front wheel up, we can still get some speed. This is one of my favourite trails to just rip down. You might have seen it in my previous videos. It is definitely one of my favourite locations. Still got to be a bit careful coming down here because you might come across some people. I'd hate to come flying down and take someone out. But once you know it's clear, the throttle goes back on. I was full brakes then and I just wasn't stopping. It's nice that the sun's finally decided to, oh my god. It's nice that the sun's finally started to show an appearance. For the past couple of weeks here, it's literally either been cloudy days or rain, so nothing's drying out properly. I've changed my tyres to some enduro tyres and I'm finding it so slippy already. But with that fun part out of the way, let's start talking about the reasons why I love the Surron. And the first reason that I want to talk about why I do love the Surron is the noise, and how quiet this bike is. So normally if you were ripping down here on a pit bike, motorbike, motocross bike, whatever you want to call it, you'd be disturbing some people, you'd be upsetting some people. There's a lot of dog walkers that like to come down here, you'd be upsetting the dogs, you'd probably get complaints. Whereas the Surron is probably one of the only bikes that you can actually give it a good rip around and not really disturb many people. It's only when I try and go past people that they might seem disturbed or annoyed by the Surron, and even then 99.9% people really don't care, just because of how cool and how quiet the bike is. They're more intrigued at what I'm riding than sort of having a go at me for riding it. I know if you do the chain conversion kit instead of the belt kit, it does make the Surron a little bit louder. It's still definitely not going to be as loud as a proper motocross bike, and it's still definitely not going to be loud enough to disturb people. I go riding this thing at 12 PM, 1 o'clock in the morning sometimes, and literally disturb nobody. Nobody even knows I'm there. That is something that you have to love about the Surron. I guess you could say this about the Talaria or any e-bike, but the fact it's so quiet is just something that you can't not love about the bike. So the second reason why I love the Surron so much is it's such low maintenance. Obviously there's some maintenance that you're going to have to do. Keeping on top of tyre pressure, keeping on top of the fork pressure is always a good idea. Keeping the bike clean, lubing the chain and greasing bearings every so often. If you keep on top of these things, then you'll keep your bike running smooth, and the maintenance time is so little. There's no need for air filter changes, oil changes. There's no need to even change the oil like you would have to on a Talaria. Even just keeping the bike clean, within an hour you can have the whole bike washed down, cleaned, dried, finished, shined up, ready for your next ride. If you do need to know how to clean a Surron properly, or any e-bike for that matter, I'm going to plug the video I did the other week on how to clean a Surron. You can relate that video to all your other e-bikes, so if you do need to know how to clean your bike, go and check that video out. But overall the Surron is such low maintenance. If you keep on top of the small jobs that you need to do to it, then you'll have loads more ride time, loads more fun time, and a lot less tool time on the Surron. That's got to be the second reason why I love this bike so much. So moving on and moving to the next reason why I love the Surron so much is it is just the coolest looking bike. I know there's obviously other competitors out there now, but even to me now, the Surron is just the coolest looking bike out of the lot. It definitely looks the best. So many options with what you can do to it, but it is hard to make this bike look ugly or make it look bad. Every little thing that you do to the bike, every time you change a little bit of something, you just think, wow, that is a good looking bike. I think a lot of people will find it hard to disagree that the Surron is just one of the best looking bikes out there. One of the main comments I tend to get when I'm out on the Surron and people see it for the first time that have never seen a Surron before, even people that have seen a Surron before, the first thing they say is how cool the bike looks. I just also think that Surron nailed the in-between look of a mountain bike and an actual motocross bike. They put the little mud guards on to make it more like a crosser. They've got the small frame that looks more like a mountain bike, obviously a bit more substantial than that because it has to hold the battery. They didn't make the frame and everything too big around the Surron, so it looks like a massive substantial thing flying past people, even when you're getting quite a bit of speed. That's got to be the third thing that I really love about the Surron, is just how pleasing it is to look at. How I can sit there on Instagram for hours just looking at people's builds, looking at my own build and thinking how good it really looks. So the next thing that I love about the Surron is the upgrades. These bikes are all about the upgrades. So as you could probably tell looking at my bike, I've done a few upgrades myself, nothing too serious yet, but the upgrades you can do on this bike are endless. There are so many parts readily available for you to buy. There's so many colour options you can go for. There's different tyre options. The options of personalisation to the bike are second to none. There is so many things you can do to these bikes to make it look your own. And seeing as the Surron has been out a bit longer than the other bikes you might find like the Talaria or the Solar Eclipse, there is so many more upgrades available to do to your Surron. You never really get bored of the upgrades that you've done, and even if you do, there's always the next new thing coming out ready for you to put on your Surron. And if you're one of these guys that's got unlimited money, like myself, you can make these things absolute machines. And like I recently found out, you can even modify this bike whilst you're on the run with it, and I'm going to show you how you do that right now. The Surron has a feature called regenerative braking, and when you first buy your Surron, this is more than likely going to be set on mode 3, which is the most regen. Then there's 2 other levels of regen that you can choose from, 1 and 2, 1 being the least, 3 being the most, and then you can even turn regen off completely. This can all be done on the go with just the front brake lever, and I'm going to show you how. So on my bike, I'm actually going to turn the regen off for the very first time, and this is exactly how you do it. You're going to want to go to your bike, turn the key, wait for the screen to load up. Then you're going to come to your front brake and you're going to press it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times, and then you're going to press and hold it for a long one. After you've done that long hold, you release the front brake. After you've released the front brake, you give it 5 to 10 seconds to let it tell the controller that you've just turned regen off. And then hopefully you should be able to see that regen has now been turned off. The back wheel is spinning completely freely. If you want to turn your regen back on, you will do the same procedure but with 4 presses of the front brake lever followed by a long press, so 5 overall, 4 short ones, then a long hold. Then even to set your regen to levels 1 or 2, you will do a different number sequence with the front brake like I just showed you. That will let you choose between modes 1 to 3 or even turn regen completely off. This feature also works for other features on the bike. I know there's some that you can do with the kickstand that will turn other features off on the bike. I've not fully experimented with these yet. Once I've had a good look at how you do these in the future, I'll probably do a video on all of the features on the Surron, but this makes the Surron modifiable on the go. The Surron does come with a diagnostics cable which you can plug into this connector right here, and you plug it in between the battery and this connector, and that has a small red light on it that flashes that will show you if these things are completed. However, you don't need that to do these things. You can do it without the diagnostics cable. It's just harder to see if it's worked or not. But just like that, regen has now been fully turned off on my Surron. It really is the little features like that that make you really impressed with these sorts of machines. I know I'm definitely impressed that you could do that with the Surron. I thought you had to remove sensors, but again, it just shows how modifiable and how upgradable these bikes really are. And that's why that's the 4th reason why I absolutely love the Surron. That now brings us on to the 5th and the final thing that I love about my Surron. I honestly could keep going, the list is endless. The 5th and final point that I love about the Surron has got to be the addiction of everything to do with it. If I'm not out riding, I've got that itch to get out riding. If I'm not looking at parts online, I'm putting parts on the bike. There's always something to do to the Surron. The freedom that the bike gives you with the quiet noise, the speed of the bike. I'll sit at work in the daytime literally counting down the hours till I can go out and ride in the evening time. The community of people around the Surrons, even the Talarias, whether it's a Surron Light B, a Surron Ultra B, a Surron Storm B, all of the people are so nice to talk to. Everyone's so willing to give you a helping hand if you're having problems with the bike. There's always people organising meets to meet up and go and ride. In America you got the mega ride. Over here in the UK you've got a community of people that are just starting to do rides together, meeting up at tracks, meeting up at trails, looking to go out and spend some good time with each other, riding the Surrons. I myself have started talking to so many people recently just because of the Surron. People have been giving me feedback on the build, people have been giving feedback on parts and things to buy. Even a lot of the lads that are running the Surron stores that sell a lot of the parts are absolutely spot on. They're all so sound to talk to. The other content creators are also amazing to talk to. There really is a massive buzz and a great energy within the Surron community, whether it be here in the UK, over in America, Australia. No matter where you're from, you can always go online and talk to these people and it's always going to be good vibes. Like I mentioned in one of the previous points, you can spend so much money on this bike. It really is an addiction and you have to find yourself stopping spending money on the bike just for the sake of it. I will literally sit online googling parts for the Surron, looking at what other people have done to their build, and then I'll have that urge, that real thrill to go and do something to my bike, even if it's just going out to the bike to clean it, maintain it, whatever. You can't help but be doing something to your bike all the time, if not doing something to it, riding it. So really owning a Surron really is such an addicting thing to do, and that's why the addiction and the thrill of owning a Surron is my 5th and final thing as to why I love it. So that then concludes concludes this video on the 5 things that I love about the Surron. If you haven't got a Surron yet and you're looking to get one, hopefully these 5 things have persuaded you to get one in the future. You won't regret it. It is worth every single penny. If you did learn something by me showing you the regen trick, how to turn the regen off, then go ahead and leave it below in the comments. Let me know if you like to ride with regen on or regen off, or let me know what regen setting you like to ride at, whether it be 3, 2 or 1. If you have liked this video, please be sure to hit the like button, leave some comments down below, subscribe to the channel if you're not yet. There's plenty more to come in the future. I'm going to go ride the Surron before it gets dark. I'm Matt Francis, signing out. Peace.